Alright, what's up guys? I am trying to get everything situated and set up, so I will have that figured out here in just a moment, and then we can get programming. Of course, I'm similarity 332 455 and 90. Alright, I think that's what I'm looking for. Let's see. I'm there, but this is not how I want to be. This is not how I want to be. Where's the... Good Jesus. What's going on here? There we go. Is that better? Not enough light going on. It's starting to get dark out here. Alright. I'm in the building. I need some more lighting. Need some more. Oh, am I disappearing there? No, not disappearing. Okay, so we're gonna put together a quick script to target these entries for longs on for the NASDAQ for on TradeStation is COMPX $COMPX. So we're going to use that to target these entries and find out some places that we can get in and make a little bit of money. Alright, so I'm going to make this one pretty short and sweet, and I might not be able to run the whole thing because wife and kid going to be needing me here in a minute. So once they get back, I'm out of here. So I might not get finished up. But, of course, I will always finish up. I just may not be able to hang out with you guys. So here we go. Alright. First off, let's open a new show me, and this is going to be for the 5 minute. 5 minutes. 5 on 08/01/23, and this is for COMPX. All right. Bada bing, bada boom. All right, so what we're trying to identify is, I see 3 potential longs here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so this could be a potential here, but I'm not necessarily interested in that one. Nevertheless, again, we're always going to leave this first one as true, and then for the second one, we're going to make that a bullish bearish candle, so the close is going to be less than the open, and then we're going to verify that whole guy there. So once the show me is verified, then we're going to come over back to the chart, and we're going to add. Now you can't see this screen. Sure you can. Let's see. Can you see that? Yeah, you can see that. All right. Then we're going to add the show me, which is exclamation mark 5 minute 08/123 COMPX. Yep. All right. So now that we have it open, we have that there. All right. So again, on the 5 minute, I make my 5 minutes blue. Now we have to identify where. We have to identify these guys here. It looks kind of similar to yesterday, whereas this, especially this first one, dropped below the -2 standard deviation of the VWAP. That's this line here. That's the -2 standard deviation of the VWAP. So let's get this guy out. At best, we could identify. I like to use the wicks as my stop loss, so I'd be great to have a potential entry there and work up as high as that there, and then I don't really like this one. Okay, so then use this as an entry, enter there and go as high as there. That moved up 0.21%. This one moved up 0.47%, and then as far as the move down from there to the, really I would have used the bottom wick, but you can see that would have got stopped out right there. So you can either use that bottom wick there, or you can use half of, so this entire move here, you can use half of that as your stop loss. And you see, if you take it horizontally, about half that movement was where that wick to. So it did respond to that 50% movement there, and I know a lot of people use the retracements like the 33 and the 66%, the Fibonacci retracements. So, and then on this guy here, if we were to get in on this bar, we definitely want to use this prior response area here. So we want to come down as far as that for our stop loss, and then the potential should be as far as there. So we'd be risking 0.11% to make 0.23%. So that'd be a 1 to 2. This one we'd be risking, well, again, this one would have got stopped out unless we really do account for that much of a risk. So because we're trying to make our strategy suit multiple time frames and whatnot, I mean not multiple time frames but multiple days, this will be the smartest one to follow, which is 0.8% risk, and it moves up 0.21%. So that, again, that's about a 1 to 2. That's a 1 to 2. This one, however, we're risking 0.06 and it moved up 0.47. But also that's the first movement of the day, which is often risky to take. But that would have been what, 36, 48, 1 to 4, something like that. So we better stick with this 1 to 2. And I think this prior day, the one that we coded for yesterday, I had the words up there. No, I had it on another chart. But oh, there it is. Risking 0.05 and it moved up 0.20. So that was a 1 to 4. Yesterday was a 1 to 4 kind of a day. And then today we'll be looking at 1 to 2 on 5-minute time frame. Okay. All right. So how can we isolate? How can we identify these here? All right, so we already put in that it's bearish candle. That's a long candle. That's a long. That candle has a wick. That candle does not have a wick. The volume here is higher, lower, lower. But $43, the volume is 44, that's not lower. They do open under these, all these potential entry candles definitely open under the different close. They open also, yep, they open under the 25 moving average and under the 9. So let's make condition 2 and 3 that simple moving average of the 9 is below, no, the open is below, open is below the simple moving average of the 9, and let me just put and the open is below the simple moving average of the 25. Better put some parentheses because that's what it likes, to make sure that everything follows the order of operations. All right, verify that. All right, so now we got rid of a lot. Actually, this one is good to go. This one is good to go. We don't get a lot of this junk in here. We do have these first couple ones come up, but like I said, in the previous studies that I've done, I've actually not even traded the first 30 minutes of the day. Again, because when you're coming from the previous day to the new day, these values here from here to here don't make a lot of sense because of what happens with the gap up or gap down. you got to leave some room for interpretation there for people to kind of decide what they're going to do. All right, so I'm just going to make it simple. Like I said, what I do with a lot of the other ones is I'm just going to make with the time, it's got to be greater than 10 o'clock. If I can spell it, the time is greater than 10 o'clock. Re-verify. And that ought to get rid of those. Okay, what's going on? Is that 10 o'clock? Is that within 10 o'clock? Okay, nah. These are some extraneous ones here. Who is that? Who is that? Get out of here. Get out of here. Alright. These blue dots must be from another study. Time is less than 10 o'clock. Time is greater than 10 o'clock. Okay, there we go. You got to get your lesson greater than. You got to get your operators right. You know, if you don't get your operators right, then yeah, you're going to have some problems. Okay, all right, so now we did that, and yeah, so what do we have? We have 4 conditions there, and with 4 conditions, we were able to isolate all 3 of those areas. Like I said, that one I wasn't really interested in. Man, I'm getting quicker at these. Usually it takes me about 50 minutes to get through this. What is this? 12 minutes? So 2 minutes to set up, and call it 10 minutes. All right. So we're going to go ahead and move this into a strategy. And I know, let's see what other studies are, if there are any other studies on this day. Enable disable studies, 515, we got that one set up. 5 minutes, 7:31 is on. So let's turn these other studies off because it's confusing the data for prior days. So we're going to turn off. So 581, we want that one. We're going to turn this one off. We're going to turn off 731. That's the only other one that's on. 558, 731. Okay. All right, so turn those off. All right, so these then are part of the study that I just created. But again, they're working on the previous day, which these values do seem to correlate. And let's see what the EMA spread looks like. So I need to change that. It needs to be the SMA spread. Let me go over here because that's bugging me. Because I'm calling it the EMA spread, but it's not technically an EMA spread. EMA would be referencing exponential moving average spread, and this is not. This is the SMA. The simple moving average spread is what I'm using to calculate this indicator. So instead of EMA, and I don't even think I have an exclamation mark, which I should. That way I can get to it quicker. EMA spread should be called exclamation mark SMA spread. Technically, I need to change my I need to change the function too, because I'm calling it EMA spread in all of my strategies, and it shouldn't be. All right, so where am I at? What was I doing? All right, so I want to come and I want to open that. So now I know that it's got the exclamation mark, and then it should be SMA indicator. What did I do with it? Oh, I've got to close this and then open it back up. And now I should have exclamation mark SMA spread. There we go. All right. So that opens up down there. All right. So this bar down here has got a pretty high values here. This one also has fairly high values, but with this one, the green line is over the yellow. With these, the yellow is over the green. With this one, the green is under, and this one the green is under also. These are fairly close. This one is fairly close. These are farther away. So we could look at the difference between the green and the yellow line as far as looking at a proximity there. Well, with this one, that distance is pretty far too. So from the yellow to the green is a large gap. From the yellow to the green is small. Yellow to the green is wider, but this is pretty wide, and we want to maintain that place there, so I don't want to do that. Here, these values are trading under the volume weighted average price, which is the blue line, and so are these trading under the VWAP, and these don't work either. This one kind of works. It's still trading under the VWAP. This one works. It's trading under the VWAP. So on this day, these couple worked, but they have a long wick and they're under VWAP. On this day, these are under VWAP. 25 moving average is above, but it works. 25 moving average is above. So I could say something like, I could have a formula where if the indicator is, where if the candle is under VWAP, then it has to have a long wick. So let's make a condition that says that. So we'll make the condition say if the open is, or let's see, can we do the 25 moving average? Yeah. If the simple moving average of the 25 is less than VWAP, and I think we have a VWAP H. Yeah, it's less than VWAP, then is less than VWAP. We need to make every other one false. We need to allow for this to still be true. Alright, so the condition is if it's under VWAP and it has a long wick, then it's true. Else, I don't want to make it false, because then that would get rid of everything. Okay, so we need to only address the ones that are under the VWAP. Alright, so we're going to do a begin. Alright, so if the simple moving average of the 25 is under VWAP H, then begin if bottom, so now we're only looking at those, so now bottom wick is greater than 40% of the range, then condition 10 equals true. Can I do that? If bottom wick let's see. I'm thinking. All right, so this is something that I don't typically do, which is going and I almost have to write it down. Going and finding criteria that only that is if or kind of a thing. Let's see. So like I said, this is something I don't usually do, so I gotta kind of work my way through it, and yeah, you're gonna have to bear with me. Let's see. If the bottom wick is greater than 40% of the range, then the condition 10 equals true. Else, I still don't want it to be false, because that will keep me from identifying all the other ones. If the bottom wick is greater than the 40% of the range. Almost like it needs to be an or. And condition 9. Then begin okay, I think this needs to happen after. I think after all these conditions are true, because we already isolated all these. We already isolated these 3 points that we want. So I think we need to say after we've identified those, then you're going to begin the plotting, but also then begin, I think this needs to be down here, then begin also if the simple moving average of the 25 is less than VWAP. All right, I got to figure that out, because I like that. I like that, because then I can have one study that can reference multiple days. But so for right now, I've just got this one study that does really well on this one day, but then when we have this situation where it's under VWAP, it can't isolate these that work well with these that don't work well. So anyway, let's put this in a strategy and see what the strategy performance report says, and then I'll come back and I'll play with that. So I need to say the condition 5 equals that the date is today. Date equals, so how do we reference today's date? Well, it's the number of years from 1900. So it's 123 years, and then today is the 7th, no, it's the 8th month. 8, and then this is the 1st. All right, so it's got to look like that. Condition 5. All right, so now we re-verify, and so now it's taken away these entries from July 31st because they do not compute for August 1st. So Now we only have stuff that's showing up on August 1st. All right, so if we want to take that and we want to take all those and put them in a copy that, and then we're going to build a strategy around it. And we're going to call this strategy, it's going to be the 5 minute for 080123 COMPX. Alright, then we're going to leave counter up there because we need to count the bars as we are moving from bar to bar. And what that does is it allows, once you get an entry into your position, it allows for you to not sell that position immediately, because what I've done is I've created the code and then it'll actually put me in a position and then it'll exit at the end of the bar, because well, the algorithm says that, all right, well, if you find that the criteria is met on that same bar that you entered, then go ahead and exit. So it's like entering and exiting immediately. So you have to do a counter, which actually allows you to only exit after you have at least made it to the next bar. All right, so we have our criteria in here for the study that we just did. And so now, after all these criteria are met, then we're going to begin. We're going to buy that next bar at the market. And here's the counter here. We're counting the bars. And then here says if the counter is over 2, so you're on the next bar after buying, and your average entry price is greater than 0, which just simply means that you have an average entry price, so that you're in position, then you will look for your exits. So you look for your stop loss, which is here, your lower end, and you look for your top end, which is your take profit, TP. All right, so now we just need to go and we need to see what that the lower end, we're saying what, 0.06, 0.08, 0.11. All right, so 11 is going to be our lowest end of the spectrum, or it's going to be our greatest loss. So let's do 0.11. I think that's going to give us 0.11 at about 100. 0.0011. All right, so for the take profit, we're going to do 0022. And then for our stop loss, we need to be at 0011. 0.9989. Something like that. Okay, now we're going to verify that, and then we'll semicolon, where we need semicolon at. Oh, counter. Okay, verify that, and then we'll pull up this, we'll apply this strategy to the chart, and then we'll do the add strategy. Then we're going to okay, so you see, out of everything else on there, it's only purchasing on today, because that's what we said in the code. It's only working for today, but it did buy here and it exited here, bought here, exited here, bought here, exited here. It bought here. It didn't close that out because it made it to the end of the day, so you would have went ahead and closed that candle out. I need to figure out how to make it close on the last bar, last bar of the day, regardless of what it is. So I don't know, what could we do? Take profit, average, if counter end, or let's see, if, and I know that there's something that's like last bar of session, if session end, something, session 2 end time. I need to see session last candle. Need to look up, see what some definitions are for session first bar time, session end time, session end day. What is that? Session count day, session count. Session end day. Let's see what the definition of this is. Numerical value 0, auto-detect regular session, numeric session, session number to reference. Used with session information to refer to the day that the specified session ends. Okay, so this is a reference in the day. We don't need the day. We need the time. Or last bar on the chart. Session end. Definition of session. See if we can find something related. Nope. Session end. Session end time. First bar time. Session 1 end time. Let's see, what is that? Session 1 end time. Storage retained for backwards compatibility. Refers to session end time, session end day. Let's check that one out. Session end time. Okay, all right, here we go. Session end time is a reserved word. Use of session information referred to the time that the specified session is. Oh, I guess we could just do it that way, right? So just make it 1600. Returns a numeric value for the time of day specified. The specified session ends. 1600 equals 4 p.m. Session type. Numeric auto detect regular session. 1 equals regular session. Session number a numeric value. Session number to reference. Assign the value 1 the end time for the third regular session. Third regular session. Session type, regular session. Numeric value, session number to reference. Well, it depends on what you're looking at, how far you're looking, because if your chart goes so many sessions, then you're just referencing the number session or regular session that it went through, and I'm not wanting to do that. I'm just wanting to end at any session. So you know what makes sense is if 1400, so if it's the end of the day, I mean, because you could let it run through the next day, but technically the way that I want to trade, I want to be exiting at the end of the day anyway. So it'd be great if it gapped up and you made money there, which happened on one of the studies, the strategies that I created, but that's not fair. That's not what I want to do. I want to actually exit the end of the day, because that's what I should be doing. All right. So if time equals 1600, or let's just say not 1600, which is 4 o'clock p.m. 3:59. So if time equals 15:59, then sell this bar at what kind of writing is that? Sell this bar. Jesus, computer. At close. All right. So, and actually, I'm gonna do it for 1400. So it'll be the close. It'll be the last bar of the day. If time is 16, but technically, if it's 4 o'clock, then 3:59 has completed, so you couldn't do it that way. So it needed to be 15:59. So 3:59 p.m. Then sell this bar at close. All right, and we don't really need to restart the counter. Well, we would, because it'd be going to multiple days. All right, let's try that. Okay. All right. So that should have closed. That candle should have closed, right? Well, it didn't close because I didn't really tell it what to do. I said then sell. Need to put in parentheses sell. I just put end of day. Sell this bar at close. Now that should have exited, but it would have exited down here, which actually would have been a small loss. If time, okay. If average entry price is greater than minus open, then begin. If time equals 1559, then sell end of day this bar at close. That should work. Begin. Alright, if counter is greater than 2, then begin. If that end. If average is 0, then begin. Next bar, target, end. If I mean, that should work. If time equals 1559, then sell in the day this bar at close. What am I missing? Come on, guys, help me out. Help me out. What am I missing? Hang on. Pause this thing for a minute. Pause just for a minute. Hang on, hang on. All right, so if you're with me, all right. So if you're with me, I'm trying to figure out this last little bit of the code, right? So I've got these 3 entries here, which is what I was trying to target, but I've also got a 4th one here, which is fine, but I don't want to leave it open. I want it to close just like these. These take profits, they close. It'll close for a little bit of a loss, but I actually want it to close this last candle of the day. So I'm trying to figure out, these are my 2 conditions here. One is a stop loss, one is a take profit, and then the last one I just added is a, it's another stop loss, right? So it's if the time is equal to 1558, which it is, right? I mean, 1558 on this bar, and the average price, entry price, is greater than 0, which it is because you've got 100 shares. Then you want to begin. You want to sell end of day this bar at close. I mean, let's try next bar. Next bar at market. Now, that's what I usually do, but I found out today that I can sell this bar at close, and that should work too. All right, so, and then end. Let's see. Nope, that didn't exit either. So, like I said, I'm still learning some of the nuances of executing the strategies. I've been playing with making these codes for quite a while, but executing these strategies, it's another beast. But let's see what the strategy performance report did for just those 3 entries. If we open that up, and just put something in the chat there, let me know you're out there. Question, comment, whatever. I need to have a little bit of feedback about these strategies, or maybe you see a better entry that I should be targeting. All right, but so this is a strategy performance report. Let's see if you can see that. Let me make it so that you can see it, because I don't think you can see that window. So you can see what we came up with. All right, so create new, window capture. All right, you should be able to see that. All right, so that's what it created. That's the kind of performance that we got out of it. Obviously, again, we're targeting this, so it did well, right? It's hitting on 100%. It would have made on a $100,000 account, taking 100 shares at a time, it would have made $11,000, $5,000 on that first trade, $3,000 on that second trade, and $2,800 on the third trade. This 4th trade, like I said, I wanted to exit that trade, and it may have been at a slight loss, but I don't want to carry, because I intend to use these for day trading, so I don't want it to carry over a trade from one day to the next. I'm not swing trading it. So what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? You think these are pretty good targets, or you think I should be maybe looking for something else? What are your thoughts on this script? Let me know. And while you typing something up, I'm gonna play with this this exit again here. If time equals, I tell you what I could do. Instead of the take profit, I'm gonna take that out. Okay, so you see what I did? I actually, let's see, let me slide this over a little bit more. Easy language, lock, so you can see that. So I grade this out right here, and so now this is essentially, so these 2 options are the only options to exit these trades. So now when I re-verify it, let's see what happens. Oh, what's going on here? 612. Something is not right. Doom, 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 doom. Because now it should not even be, there we go. Okay, it shouldn't even be registering an exit. And because it didn't register these exits, it didn't allow it to buy again either. So, but it still should have exited this last bar when the time is 15:58. We're going to put that back in. Re-verify. And as long as if the counter is over 2 and the average price greater than 0, then begin that. Then we're going to begin. We're going to do another if. We're going to do begin, and then if the time is equal to 15:58, I gotta have something wrong on this time, but I know that's right. It's got to be something wrong on that time, because 1500, 1600 time. Let's say instead of doing equals, let's do greater than. Let's do greater than. All right, let's see if that does it. Nope, still didn't do it. So greater than 1555. Okay, all right, so I need to make myself a note about that, and I guarantee you I'll have it next time. I have it figured out next time, because this is how you get better at coding. You find areas that you cannot breach, that you cannot pass, and you study it. You make it work. I mean, you learn how to make it better. All right, so time at close of day exit. All right. So now that we got that done, like I said, that's the main one of the day. Like I said, it did make a couple grand, or that make, yeah, 11,000. Where is it? 11,000. Right there. And then if we look at the performance, we can look at those are the trades. If we look at the performance graph, we see that it, obviously the equity curve is positive because all of them are positive trades. But if I didn't, and I know we looked at whether or not we could isolate or get rid of some of the trades from the previous day that weren't great, and that's the other thing I got to make a note about, is adding exclusions, because all these conditions here are inclusive. I also want to make I guess OR functions that also allow for other inclusions but exclude some as well. So I've got to figure that out. All right, but that graph, if I change these conditions here and take out this condition 5, which only lets the chart work for the strategy work for today, I'm going to take out condition 5, and then we'll see how poorly it performed over the course of the last several days. All right, so now we're going to re-verify and see what that performance looks like. All right, now the strategy performance report is we're getting other trades in here. So where are we at? Strategy performance report. Ooh, it's all over the place. I mean, it did finish positive. Look at that equity curve. So you started out down here. That trade was down. That trade was negative. Trade was negative. Trade was negative. Now we got a nice trade. Negative trade. Positive. Positive. All right. So we did finish in the black, but it took a while to get there. All right. If we look at the trades list, again, we have multiple trades going on dating back as far as July 27th. but the first trade was bad, second trade was bad, third trade was bad. All those trades were bad. That trade there, okay, well, so it worked here. It did an end of day, right? That's what we're trying to do. What in the world? What in the world? That's what we're trying to get the end of day to work. And the end of day worked here also for a $3,000 gain. But how come it didn't work here? Right? So we got the end of, so it bought here at about 350, and then as it moved up toward the end of the day, we got it sold, right, at the end of the day. But you come back over here to today, and I mean, we have hit past 4 o'clock. Or maybe it's not, because for some reason it looks like this candle here is the 4 o'clock candle, or the 4 o'clock candle, but it didn't exit here, and it should have. Look at that, right? So we got in there, got in at this level here, which is about 14,300, and it should have exited here at end of day. It didn't hit my stop loss down here. It should have exited here end of day. If they closed that candle, it would have been a 14,345, which would have been a 14,345. It would have been a huge gain, but still been a gain nonetheless. But instead of doing that, it exited down here. Looks like the first candle of the following day instead of the last candle. So that's weird. Oh, you can't even see that because I had it covered. Hang on. All right. All right, so what I'm saying is, you see here, it actually exited. So here we got in, right? It got in, but it should have exited the last candle of the day, but it didn't. It waited till the first candle of the next day to exit. So for some reason, like this candle is being registered as the last candle. I wonder if it has something to do with my session hours. If I change that to pre and post market, does that change? It did. It did. So that's weird. I think, is that a glitch? I mean, what is that, right? Because let me show you. So now that I have pre and post market turned on, which, you know, this index really doesn't do anything pre and post market anyway, right? It's just a flat line. But now it's registering my end of day trades. So if you come over here, I'm going to turn on the window capture again. Come over here, and now we scroll down, you see that I'm getting all of my end of days. And even on this last one, instead of having that open position, which we had before, we got the end of day. Now if we look at our total cumulative profit, now over the course of the last 2 days, since what? July the 26th up and through, hey baby, up and through August the 1st, over those several days, how you doing? Good. Up and through those several days, we made an overall profit of $19,000. Boom. Okay, so that's good. So $19,000 over the course of 4-5 days. That's $19,000 on a $100,000 account. So that's roughly 20%. And the strategy that I made earlier, it made a 37% profit, but it only worked on 1 day, which, you know, if I'd have modified this one here to just work on 1 day, let's see what it would have been. So that was a 20% gain over 5 days. But if we were to take away this date here, you see the date, condition 5. Oh, wait a minute. What am I talking about? No, it did. Yeah. Okay. All right. So if we add the condition of only working on today, which is condition 5, if we add that back to the equation, now we're only going to get these 3 or 4 entries on just today. So now we rerun the strategy optimization report or the strategy performance report, and let's see what it would have done on just today. So on just today, instead of making it $30,000 on the last 5 days, we would have made just $11,000 on today, which $11,000 on one day on a $100,000 account, 10%, and then over 5 days, 5 or 6 days, we made, whatever it was. What was it? 30%? I don't know. That's not a bad lick. That's not a bad lick on one day. I tell you that. I tell you. And then even over, like I said, even over the 5 days. So if we do the performance graph, this is what it looks like on today. And then if we were to do it back, including the other days, it would look like this. That looks funky. That's a funky Comedina right there. Ain't it? Ain't it though? That's a funky Comedina. So it went up really nicely earlier, and then it came down. We got below our break even, but then it came back up for a nice move into the black. And so so we made, so over the course of the 6 days, we made a total of 20%. Going up and coming down. And then just in one day, we made 10%. I'll go for that one day any day, but of course, it's you got to take the ups with the downs for sure. All right. So what do you think? What do you think about that strategy? Come on in the chat out there. You got to tell me what you think now. All right. We got to get better together. All right, but I'm going to call this a win. This is a win for the 5-minute time frame. I'm going to get this out of here. Like I said, I'm calling this a win. This one I'm going to keep. I'm going to print out this this performance report, and I'm going to log this strategy, and then, like I said, once I get enough of these going, and I still need to isolate. All right, so if you follow what I'm saying, as I come over here to, and the strategy optimization, the strategy performance report would tell you, right? So on this day here, on 7/28, where I got all these stop losses, I want to be able to keep all those other conditions because they work, and they work well for August 1st, but they don't work well when we're doing whatever we're doing here on July 28th. So I need to be able to exclude these while still having the inclusion criteria for all the other ones. All right, but yeah, so hit the thumbs up, hit the like, subscribe, because this is free code. What are you talking about? I do all the work, you get the free code, plug it in the trade station, maybe make some money. I don't know. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't do this for a living. This is not financial advice. The only thing I will ask for you to do is subscribe. Okay, so I do these daily, and yeah, hopefully you take something from it, and all I ask is that you come back to visit me while I'm doing these, so I don't feel goofy here sitting there doing these things by myself. All right, this is Eric. I'm out. Peace.